Okay, so welcome everyone. For the visitors, and I see there's a few today, this forum is where small businesses can share their stories and for others to learn and to gain a bit of inspiration. And the purpose is to basically just share with each other. So if you can take one thing away from today, then we've actually achieved what we set out to do with this forum. So last week, we had Piet van Niekerk from Designer Needed who shared his business journey. And one thing I learned from last week is that I had actually no idea to the level that graphic designers go to actually enhance our lives. So thanks for that, Piet. Okay, so this week we have a cryptic topic which says, let food be your medicine. So just quickly the agenda. We're going to talk about let food be your medicine. We're going to do some Q&A. We have takeaways with a difference this week, and then we'll wrap up. So I'm going to introduce Debbie Matake. And Debbie is the founder and managing director of a successful business called the House of Natural Butters, and she trades as Eden All Natural. And Eden All Natural specializes in manufacturing natural butters, whether it be peanut butter or almond butter or cashews or macadamias. And prior to that, she had a whole bunch of senior management positions where she gained quite a bit of experience in leading and steering businesses. And today, as MD of her own business, she's responsible for finding ways to grow the company and getting the product on the shelves of stores, namely Pick n Pay and Spar and Woolworths and a number of others, and how to create an outstanding brand and a public image and fulfilling the company's goals. So I'm not actually going to interview anything like that this week. We're going to let Debbie tell her story, and it's quite a story. So Debbie, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Robert. I'm Debbie Matake, and I am the founder of House of Natural Butters, trading as Eden All Natural. And like the topic for the day, let your food be your medicine, and not vice versa. Let not your medicine be your food, because if we are not careful with what we eat, especially during this time of COVID and many challenges that we are facing as a world in terms of lifestyle diseases, we end up taking medicine as our food. So it starts by protecting ourselves, and it starts now, not tomorrow. Let's not procrastinate when it comes to things that pertain to our health and our lifestyle. And that was the drive that we had when we started our business. So we started our business in 2011, 2012, and it was at home, informal. And how we started it was, we had lost so many friends due to lifestyle diseases and all that. And we decided, you know what, as a family, we need to start to eat healthy. And that started with my kids. I had to introduce good food to my kids and to my hubby and to everyone else who would visit us. But then we realized that we had a problem, because one of our favorite food was peanut butter. My kids, they loved peanut butter. I also love peanut butter. I grew up actually sitting in peanuts from the age of 3 to when I was old. It was a hobby at home, and also peanut butter was my mom's pantry staple. So we had our small food processor where we would make our peanut butter. And fortunate enough, we would sell it as well at home to our friends and to our family. And my mom actually made a little bit of a fortune out of it, and my grandma. So growing up, I had my own taste of peanut butter that I wanted and that I knew was good for me. And remember, with peanut butter, we used to have it in the morning, in the afternoon, and even in the evening. We will just snack on it and enjoy it. And then with this decision of changing, now coming from eating junk to something that is more health, we realized that we have to go back to our childhood staple, and that was peanut butter. But getting into the market now, I couldn't get the peanut butter of my childhood. because the peanut butter that you'll find, they're very commercial, very processed, too much preservatives, too much sugar, too much salt. And I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it, but I had the skill. So I decided, you know what? No more buying peanut butter. We are only making our own. And on the other hand, the natural peanut butters that were in the markets already, they were quite expensive. As long as something is tagged all natural, organic, 100%, you kind of like remove yourself from it because you feel like it's too expensive and you can't afford it. So to me, that's what we did. We had to build our wall and we said, you know what, we need to start. And this is me and my husband. When I say we need to start something. So I started to make peanut butter for my family. And then it was just 500 grams a week. And we'll make it, we'll eat it, and we will continue. And doing that, friends would usually visit us and we would serve them with our butter. And people were very amazed. And they were like, but why are you not selling it? You can't just give us this for free. So we decided, okay, let's try to sell it. So my husband again decided to take some to work and feed his friends at work. And every time, I think every Friday, he'll come back to home and say, you know what? The guys at work are giving me problems. They are only eating my peanut butter and I'm running out. So we were actually supplying his friends from work. And the network grew from there. So he had a friend at work who had a friend who had a gym. The story is so funny. And this friend, he told him that, you know what, Brighton, give me some of your peanut butters. I want to give to my friend who owns a gym. And gym guys, we love this. There is a lot of protein and enough protein for us in peanut butter. So please tell your wife to make more. So I made 2 jars and I gave it to him. Then he gave it to his friend and his friend was amazed. He said, you know what, please tell him just to make 10. I don't have a label or anything. I'm just starting. And he said, no, don't worry. Just give him whatever you have. So I went, I looked for jars and we pegged 1 kilo, 5 1 kilo buckets. And then it goes to that guy. The next day, I think we gave him on a Friday. And on a Monday, he called me and he said, you know what? In my first session on a Saturday, your peanut butter was gone. It just flew. People, they loved it. Please make 10 more jars and deliver on Friday. Then the machine that I had, I think it only had a capacity of 5 kg in 3 hours or in 4 hours. So it was a hassle actually to make 10 kg of peanut butter and serve them. But we did it because I thought, let me just try it. Why not? And then he called the next Monday and said, bucket's gone. For next week, I want 20. So it started to grow. And then that's when I realized that, no, man, I'm actually sitting on a gold mine. I need to dig into this mine and do something. But at the same time, I was very scared. And the reason why I was scared was, in as much as I really wanted business, and in as much as I really wanted to grow something with my own hands and provide to the nation, I didn't realize peanut butter was the thing. I thought I was going to make an impact in other ways. And I think that's the mindset that we have as human beings, that sometimes we focus on things that we think they are okay. And yet there is a lot of things that you can achieve and you can do with whatever you are doing right now. And that vision, then I didn't have it. So I was comfortable with my one customer, and whenever he said 20, I was okay with that. But then later on, I realized, no, man, let me just do something. What else can we do? Then my husband came with an idea that, no, let's start to go to markets. There are a lot of markets. And at the moment, we just need to do it slowly and tap into the industry and see if people will appreciate our products. So we started to go to markets. You think of your Lawrenceford market, Observatory market, there is Ara44 market, Canal Walk market, and the Waterfront market. So we started to establish our markets, and the feedback that we got from people, it was actually great. People, they loved our product and they were encouraging us. Why are you not in corporate stores? This thing is not for us only, it's for the world. And then I was happy with that feedback. Some, again, they will come and say, Debs, we are not used to your peanut butter because we are so used to our sugar. We want our sugar. And your peanut butter is just, it doesn't taste the way that we know peanut butter. Please add sugar. But then remember, in the beginning, I said, the reason why we started was to change our lifestyle. And sugar was one of those things that we wanted to cut in our diet. And believe you me, a human being for my age, especially young, maybe 34, 35, 6 teaspoons of sugar is enough for you for the whole day. And that's what we wanted to achieve. But then we said, okay, this is what the customers are saying. What is it that is natural and sweet that we can add to our peanut butter and provide for them? Because remember, when you make products, it's not for you, but it's for the customer. So sometimes we attach ourselves to our products and we neglect the customer. But in our case, we said, okay, we will listen to the customer, but we are not going to give you artificial sugar. We are going instead to give you something that is good and healthy. So we improvised and we started to add raisins to our peanut butter. Then later on, I decided, okay, because I always love my peanut butter. Sometimes I sprinkle it with cinnamon. Why can't I add cinnamon to give it a wow flavor? And then the sweetness that comes from raisins to give the peanut butter the sweeter taste. So we came up with a recipe, we developed it, and we came up with cinnamon and raisin peanut butter. And people, they loved it. But again, some were complaining and saying, Debs, no, we want sugar, we want sugar, we want sugar. And I said, I'm not going to give you artificial sugar, but I'm going to look for an alternative. Then what did we do? We thought of honey. So we started to blend honey and peanut butter, giving them a healthy alternative. And wow, this shook the market. People, they loved it so much, and they were like, this is what we want. And from there, I learned it's very important to listen to your customers, because many a times we are so egocentric. We focus so much on our ego and we don't care about the customer. But listening to the customer gives you a guarantee that he or she is going to tell someone if they love the product, and if they know that you listen to them, then the word goes viral, and whatever you are selling, people will appreciate it. Because at the end of the day, like I always say, your why, the reason why you are doing or you're making peanut butter, it has to meet the reason why a customer is also making a peanut butter. So between the supplier and the customer, you need to have a common cause. And if you agree with the whys of your customer, then you have won more customers. And it's very important to always ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I making peanut butter? What is the difference between my peanut butter and whatever that is in the market? And that we nailed it, we achieved it, because we wanted to feed the nation with something that is simple, something that is not processed very much, and something that is healthy and nutritious, and the price very affordable and competitive. At the end of the day, making a profit out of it. So from there, the word just grew. And before you knew it, we were at a waterfront market. I now had employees. I was an employer. I had a girl who was making peanut butter at home, and also a lady who was selling peanut butter at market. So we were at a waterfront market, and my girl is busy selling our products. And boom, 2 guys came. And she started to serve them, very excited, didn't know where they were coming from. And later on, as they were scrutinizing, she told me, and she said, Debs, you know what? I was so irritated with them because I'm busy marketing their product and they are busy scrutinizing and really looking at it. And at the end of the day, I want them to buy my peanut butter and they are taking long. Later on, that's when they started to chat to her. Who is making this peanut butter? And she told them, no, it's Debs. She's making it from Devonville. Wah, wah, wah. And they were like, no, you know what? We actually chuffed with your products. And we are going to leave you with our business card. And please tell this woman to call us. So then they took their business cards from their pockets. And that was the Pick and Pay regional buyers. Oh my word, she called me there and there. And we all screamed. We were so happy. But I think upon putting down the phone, I was like, why am I happy? How am I going to supply more than, Pick n Pay has got more than 700 stores in South Africa alone and about 1,500 stores in Africa. How on earth do you expect me working with a food processor to actually supply Pick n Pay? She came with a business card at night, and I didn't even bother to look at it, let alone to call them, because I was like, you know what, I'm too small for this, and I'm so fearful. I cannot even supply one store with 5 jars. How am I able to supply a big retailer? And I just packed the idea and left it. That was on a Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, I didn't call them. Then the next following week, on a Wednesday again, I received a call, 021658. And then I realized, hey, this is Pick n Pay head office. And we want to speak to Debbie. And I'm like, hi, it's me. And they're like, no, we were waiting for your call. We left our business cards and we loved your product. We are actually munching on your product right now. Please, can you come and see us? Oops. I was so scared. I was so fearful. And what I was so fearful of then was like, I don't have the corporate jargon in terms of retail space. And how am I going to do it? So eventually I went, because I knew that they were serious. When a retailer calls you, it means he's serious. So I went to meet them, and it was the worst meeting ever, because they gave me a thick book with all their regulations, requirements, food safety. I needed to have food safe equipment in order for me to produce. It was just a mountain that I thought I was never, ever going to make it. So coming out of that market, of that meeting, I went home, and I told Brighton about it, and he was like, yes, you can do it. Do you want to do it? And I was like, I do want to do it, but to be honest, I'm scared. And it's like, no, man, we can do it. You know what? If we don't do this, 1, who will do it? 2, who has been approached by a retailer and refused that opportunity? How many buyers goes out there to look for items or products to put on their shelves? So those are the questions that we were asking ourselves. And I realized, you know what? 10 years later, I don't want my kids to call me, Mom, you were dumb. Why did you refuse that opportunity? Why didn't you even try to do it? So I was like, you know what, Brighton, thank you for the motivation. I am going to. It might not be this year. It might not be next month. It might not be next week. But eventually, one day, I will supply Pick n Pay. I met those guys in 2013. I only started to supply Pick n Pay, I think, in 2016, mid-2016. It was roughly around 3.5 years or 4 years after our initial meeting. But I always thank God, because during that time, it was really time to prepare me for the bigger world that I was going to meet and more challenges that I was going to face. Believe you me, retail world is so brutal. They don't care whether you're small or you're big or you're whatever. When they say they want their products, they want it to their expectations. And it was just tough. We had to overcome so many challenges, and that includes the knowledge of the industry. I was so clueless. I'm coming from an accounting business studies background, where I was very comfortable in the corporate world, in my comfort zone, getting a salary and being satisfied with what I was getting. And also I was rising, and that's what I wanted. And it was actually being born again, starting to learn new things and to do new things in a different way and according to the dictates of a certain industry. So that was a challenge or a hurdle that I had to face. The second one was sourcing nuts. Even up to date, we still have that challenge, whereby sourcing nuts in South Africa is just a nightmare on its own. Currently, we get our nuts from all over the world. To be honest with you, I'm getting them from Malawi, from Zambia, from Mozambique. And when it's out of season in Southern Africa, we are getting them from Vietnam, Argentina, and sometimes India, fine through agencies. But it's working at the moment. In South Africa, the doors are simply closed. There are no nuts in South Africa at the moment, and because of the drought, obviously. And also, so that's another challenge that we had to face and we had to encounter. And I had funding issues. You know, you have got an idea, you're just a startup, and no one is really buying into your idea. And what we did then was we had to save every cent. And it also meant the lifestyle had to change. Things that we don't necessarily need as a family, we didn't even bother to go even for window shopping because we knew we cannot afford it at that particular time. So we had to cut on every unnecessary expense in order for us to see our dream being into fruition. And we are seeing our vision now, that the sacrifices that we made earlier on, we're actually reaping them now. So it's important as a business person to sacrifice all that you can. I have seen a lot of business people who do not want to sacrifice their cents. If you want to be successful, there are some sacrifices that needs to be done. And it includes even cutting on going to restaurants unnecessarily and just enjoying food at home. And that was the drive. Your food had to be your medicine, or had to be our medicine during that time. So finances, we had to self-finance, and we bought our machines from China. Some people, they're very skeptical about looking east, but we took that risk. And up to now, the machines that I bought then, I'm still using some of them now. So it's important just to look around the world and don't be scared, even if it means to go to China and look for what you need. If that needs to be done, just do it. That's how you become successful. And also the other challenges were HR issues. Now I needed a food technologist. I needed someone, a production manager who knows how to run production and all that. And how did we do it? Friends and family, they were our greatest supporters. When I went to varsity, I had a friend of mine who was doing food science, and she helped me a lot in making sure that I am HACCP certified and my factory is okay, and we have got food certified equipment to use in our production. So it really worked. And also the other challenges that we met were, it can really be a lonely world. And being an entrepreneur, sometimes you're so lonely, and you need people in order for you to gain your sanity. You need people, you need your friends, you need your family. I always say there is no business that is an island. No man is an island. You also need the moral support from friends. Sometimes it's not even money. Sometimes it's not even financial gain, but it's just the support of knowing that somebody is backing you up, somebody has got your back, and somebody is proud of you. And that makes your life to move forward. So people are important, your friends are important. My friends and my family, they were my greatest supporters and my greatest customers, even up to date. And also the other parts of it, your critics are so important. My husband is busy with an article on the importance of critics. Critics are brutal. They will tell you the truth. What you don't want to hear, that's what they'll tell you. And you have to listen to them from afar. And we realized that even in our business, it was important to hear what our critics are saying. And we would listen to them and go home and sit down and re-strategize and reinvent and do things according to their perception in order for our business to be a success. So I think in a nutshell, that's how Eden All Natural started. So now we started with 10 stores in Pick and Pay, but now we are in more than 186 stores in Pick and Pay, Western Cape, and we are slowly but surely trading into Gauteng, where we are in about 50 stores, I think, in Gauteng. We are looking for more spas. There are some stores that are a bit rigid. Their doors are still closed for us. But one thing that I don't do, I don't give up easily, and I don't easily take a no for an answer. Each and every week, I email those 2 big retailers emails and send them our products just to remind them that in as much as you don't want us, but we are still there. And eventually, it might take me 10 years, 20 years to be in those shops, but I'm sure that one day I'll be. So I'm not going to give up. And it's a challenge that I'm leaving to you now, that you also must not give up. You need to fight it, because nothing comes easily. Nothing comes when you're just seated at home and think that, oh, you know what, during this lockdown, I'm just waiting for it to pass and I'll start. No, just start to do what you want to do now. This is the time for you to start, and this is the time for you to do it. That's my story in a nutshell. Over to you, Robert.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Debbie. Wow. Yeah, I heard your story once before, and I'm blown away again.
Yes.
Wow. So, guys, I said it would be slightly different this week. So I'm now opening it up to questions, and I'm sure you must have tons of questions for Debbie. I've got one or two, but Debbie, how do you decide which suppliers to use in terms of quality? Could you mention Malawi and Zambia and Mozambique, and when you can't source from the Americas or from the East, then you look at South Africa. Is South Africa's quality that bad, or is you just getting it cheaper from overseas?
Okay, so you know that the ripple effects of drought, right? We experienced a drought in South Africa. I think for the past 2 years, our harvest wasn't that good. And a drought, whenever we have a drought, we have got a ripple effect of it. So in as much as we are getting rain now, it doesn't mean that we are out of drought. So that's the main challenge that we are having in South Africa. And also our soils, they have got something called nematodes, and it's not doing very well or justice to our production of nuts. But having said that, in areas like Vereeniging, Limpopo, and Northwest Province, there are still farmers, even in the Northern Cape, there are still farmers who are doing peanuts, but they prefer to export their nuts. Or say, for example, the big guys, the big peanut butter guys in South Africa, they will buy their stocks even before the harvest. So at the end of the day, this farmer is strictly doing it for a specific market or a specific supplier, customer that he wants to supply, and that's it. So that's the challenge that we are encountering in South Africa. So our best bet then becomes our neighboring countries where they do have good soils like Malawi. Good peanuts, they come from Malawi. Aflatoxin levels in peanuts is very good in Malawi. So we source from them as well. So it's a matter of maybe the South African markets not being able to supply. The demand is high and they cannot meet it. Hence, we look into other countries as well.
Okay. I've got a question here from Carolyn. She's asking, have you got an online shop?
Sorry, come again. I didn't hear.
So Carolyn's asking, do you have an online shop?
I do have an online shop, but we just recently we are busy upgrading it because we had stopped it. And the challenge was I would get customers from Joburg or Durban ordering 2 bottles of peanut butter, and it costs 50 rand. And to transport it cost 128 rand. So at the end of the day, I wasn't making much. But now I think we have partnered with some courier companies that are able to distribute for us at a very good price. So I think within a month or 2, we are starting with e-commerce again.
Okay.
Yes.
Has anybody else got any other questions for Debbie?
But then, having said that as well, we have also partnered with Faithful to Nature. They're an online store. They supply all over the world. We've partnered with Wellness Warehouse, Cool Bananas. So we have got a lot of online presence with our distributors, yes.
Okay. Any other questions for Debbie?
Debbie, hi, this is Gareth speaking, and congratulations on your story. I'm also an entrepreneur, so it is absolutely awesome to hear people's stories and how they've grown and how they've developed, and they've gone through the pains and the tribulations of getting there. But the most important thing, as you mentioned, is that you didn't give up. You carried on and on and on. So well done. In terms of distribution, have you looked at franchising your product in terms maybe setting up partners in the various hubs of major cities that would stock item for you and sell directly from those hubs rather than trying to courier across the countries?
Oh, thank you for that. I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think we can expand it because we have that kind of like model. So what we did for our informal sector, like I told you that sometimes when something is written organic, all natural and all that, people, they just feel like this is not for us. So we partnered with women. You think of Kaelicha Gugule to Philippi, we have got women who comes every Friday to get their products. they go and sell it over the weekend, and they'll bring our cash on Monday, and the cycle continues. And I think that's a brilliant idea now when you think of expansion. I can still do that in Joburg, whereby I empower people in Joburg and let them sell it at their convenience at home. And it's something that we can look into and expand to other regions as well. Thank you for that. We haven't started it, but I think it's a brilliant idea whereby we can do it, and even maybe take it on a larger scale, not only households, even shops that can do.
Absolutely. The reason I'm asking is that I have a factory in Johannesburg. I'm in a completely different industry, but my factory is based in Kaya Sands, which is right next to Cosmos City, Deep Sloot areas, etc., like that. So yeah, I'm willing to chat and then see if we can collaborate in some way to help you as well.
That'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. We will definitely chat. Richard is going to give out my details, and we can always communicate afterwards.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Great. Just a comment from Helena. Do perhaps the contact details? Yes, when I share the video a little bit later on, Helena, and Carolyn, the stores that Debbie is actually distributing her product to. I actually asked her yesterday. I said, I went to our local Spar here in Stellenbosch, and I couldn't find her peanut butter. So I phoned her, and I moaned and complained. And find out now there's actually in Pick n Pay in Stellenbosch and in Somerset West, it's a Spars there as well. Yep. So I'll share all those details with you guys a little bit later. So, are there any other questions? Because I'm dying to get to these takeaways. Okay, no other questions. So let's go to the takeaways. Now, before I move to the next slide, I spoke to Debbie about this yesterday, and most of the entrepreneurs that I chat to, and I listen to what they have to say, and I build the takeaways from that, is they put it together in very short and sweet sentences and whatnot. And this is the first time that somebody's actually given me their secrets to success in a metaphor. And I'm going to read out the story that Debbie shared with us. Okay, so Debbie used the metaphor of the lesson from a lion. So in the jungle, the elephant is the biggest, and the giraffe is the tallest. The fox is the wisest, and the cheetah is the fastest. But yet, the lion is the king of the jungle, even without any of these qualities. And you need to ask yourself, why? So, the lion is courageous, he's bold, he walks with confidence, and he dares anything, and he's never afraid. The lion believes it is unstoppable. The lion is a risk taker, and the lion believes any animal is food for him. And the lion believes any opportunity is worth giving a go and never lets it slip from its hands. So, what the lesson here is that you don't need to be the fastest, you don't need to be the wisest, you don't need to be the smartest, and you don't need to be the most brilliant. All you need is courage, is the will to try, is the faith to believe it is possible, and you need to believe in yourself that you can do it. And then she ends off the metaphor by saying, the lion sleeps for 20 hours a day and works for 4 hours, and yet he eats meat every day. The elephant works for 24 hours and eats grass. So your life strategy matters most in your approach to circumstance and situations for you to be a champion or a winner always. So stay in the lion's mood. I think that's incredible. I love the metaphor. Look, actually, I wonder if anybody else has got any comments on your metaphor before I close and wrap this up.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
Thanks, Caroline. Okay, so no other comments. Guys, that's us for this week. So we're going to wrap up. Next week, I'm going to do a presentation to you all on all of the sessions that we've had up until now. We're going to share all the lessons learned and the takeaways from each one of the sessions and consolidate them and see if we can come up with a common theme amongst all the people that we've spoken to and shared their stories with us. So I'll send out the invites a little bit later on this weekend, and the video will be posted to YouTube as per normal by late this afternoon.